Welcome to Cultivating Pleasant Places. Today I want to talk to you about unschooling. And to be honest, I was not a fan of this philosophy for many years. I would tell people I don't like unschooling. I don't understand unschooling. It doesn't make sense to me. And a part of that was I was just worried that my kids, if I followed a child led approach, would want to play video games all day and never learn to read or do math. And I had a friend who challenged me and said, Brenda, I think you're not really understanding this approach to schooling and that you should give it a fair shake and read up on it some more. So I went to the man who coined the term, John Holt, and I started reading his books. I looked at How Children Fail, How Children Learn, and his book Teach Your Own, which is the one I would suggest if you're interested in reading his book, maybe start here. It enchanted me. I loved how he respected children and enjoyed being around them, and he really was trying to understand where are they struggling. The book How Children Fail is really about how we fail children. And because he was in the classroom, he was a teacher, and so he wanted to do the best he could by his students, but he was watching and realizing that there were certain factors that were working against him and the kids' learning in a classroom setting, mostly fear. He said so many kids are fearful of the teacher or other students that it gets in the way of true learning, because with true learning, you should be willing to make a mistake. And of course, all teachers will say that. It's okay if you make a mistake, take a guess. But mostly kids learn, no, that's not going to work in my favor. I'm going to get laughed at if I make the wrong guess. I know the teacher, that wasn't what she was looking for, the answer she wanted on the test. And so kids are smart and they figure out what the teacher wants, what the system wants, what's going to get them ahead in school. I had a lot of friends as an adult who said, I did great in school. I knew how to get A's, but they would be the first to tell you they weren't really learning the material. They just knew what they had to do to get an A on the test, and it worked for them, and they succeeded and they came through, but did they gain a love of learning? Did they actually remember what they read about the Civil War? Not so much. Did they pick up another book? So again, Holt was looking at how do we help kids actually learn? And so some of his approaches that he found worked were self-directed learning. When the kid cares about something, wants to know about a subject, they will remember it. So if a kid is wondering, how do bees make honey? At home, you have the freedom to go and get books from the library, look up videos. You can follow that interest, and the thing that the child is interested in will actually stick. And I think we find that is true for us as adults as well. So Holt said, let's respect kids a little if we like to learn about things we're interested in, and that's the information that actually sticks in our minds. Maybe it works for kids as well. So he was a proponent of exploration. He would try games in his classroom to get the kids to explore and make guesses. What will happen when we try this? But the kids quickly just figured out how to get, again, points in his game rather than to learn what he was trying to teach them, the concepts. So finally he just, and he was an advocate at first for reforming schools, but eventually he said, at-home learning seems to be the best. If you can do it, parents are already teaching their kids how to cook, how to make their beds. We care about our kids. So he said, people teaching their children at home consistently do a good job because they have the time and the desire to know their children. And so he started this idea of unschooling, and it caught on. And some other authors you might want to check out if you're interested in it are John Taylor Gatto. He has a lot to say just about criticisms of compulsory schooling and how, again, he dreams about how you could do it differently. One of my favorite short reads is Paul Lockhart's Mathematician's Lament. He's a mathematician who makes a case for math being an art, not a science. He says it's actually mislabeled, and that we are just killing kids' love of math. And I see that to be true. He says, why do we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and get the same results and push it at a younger age? So again, he just kind of is willing to question a little bit. I think if you're interested in unschooling, you might be a little bit of a rebel because you have to try different things. And not everyone who does unschooling does it the same way with all of these philosophies. You're going to find a lot of variation from family to family and individual to individual. But what I liked about what Paul Lockhart says is that with math, and I think this applies to all subjects, he's getting back to this idea of exploration and discovery being the only way to really learn something. He says mental acuity of any kind comes from solving problems yourself, not being told how to solve them. So what I like about unschooling, to sum it all up, is that if you choose to go this path, and you can pair it with other philosophies and you can make it as structured or as you want, but it is going to incorporate this idea of letting kids learn through hands-on experience. A lot of people take it to mean life skills. So they take their kids and say, we're going to build a chicken coop because we're interested in chickens and this is a life skill, but they incorporate math and reading and science into actual skill, hands-on, discovery-based education. So it can be really fun and be applied in many different ways. But I agree with Paul Lockhart, with John Holt, that when we just give kids information and they regurgitate it back to us to get a good grade on a test, that's not real learning. And in the classroom and outside of the classroom, many teachers and parents do this well. They try to bring hands-on activities into the classroom, into assignments, but why couldn't we just do it all the time with everything? Why couldn't we explore and play games to learn math, to learn science, to do school every day? We could do it outside. There are so many possibilities. And I think fear held me back to begin with, and I think fear holds a lot of people back. But what if it doesn't work? What if we miss something? But I think what you gain in kids gaining actual knowledge, maintaining their curiosity and desire to learn, asking questions, being able to fail and make mistakes is so beneficial. I trust this system of explorative learning to turn out better educated adults than one where they're just trying to figure out how do I get the A or giving up. I can't. So how do I fly under the radar and not gain anyone's attention and get through this as quickly as possible? So something to consider. I hope you, like I, will take another look and maybe do a little more digging into this very fun school philosophy.